Hey everyone, welcome back to Blue Jay Breakdown. We will discuss Creighton men's basketball here on this episode. 1-1 in the last week since we last talked.
Yeah,
Got a really close win against a tough, gritty team that Rick Pitino wanted to roll around in the snow and do something to himself. And then a really tough road loss at number 1 ranked UConn, which the fans were very excited that Creighton was going to be there.
Yeah. We'll start with that St. John's game. Start with the positive before we get to the unfortunate result there in Stores. But 66-65 win. Creighton finally pulled out a close win in conference. Absolute rock fight. I think Matt called it a mud fight that Creighton won. Neither team was able to throw it in the ocean from three. Creighton was 6 of 27.
Yeah,
St. John's was 2 of 11.
Yeah, 22%, and Creighton was 36 or 37% from the field. That's not good.
I think the most significant thing from this game is
they won a low-scoring, tough game.
Well, the way they responded, like they fell behind by 9. There was a technical foul sequence where Baylor Shireman finished through contact, got slapped on the arm. They didn't call it. He was upset about it. They teed him up. They go down, hit the free throws, and they score on that possession. St. John's goes up by 9. And then after that, Creighton, we've seen them against Marquette, against who was that? The first one. Anyway, they did not respond well when things got away from them.
Villanova.
Thank you, Villanova. Yeah, when things started to snowball, they couldn't stop it, and they couldn't find a way to right the ship there. And they did it. They immediately fired back, and the crowd got fired up by the technical foul. But they immediately fired back with a 12-2 run there. The place was juiced, and then turned it into a back-and-forth game down the stretch where they had a chance to make a play at the end to win it, and they did. But you don't get in that point if you don't right the ship first and get yourself back in the game and prevent that thing from spiraling out of control. So we saw that against Providence, where Providence made that big run, cut it down to 1, and then Trey Alexander stepped up, made a couple of plays, and Creighton was able to stretch it back out and hold on for that win. Pretty similar in this one, where they found ways. Francisco Farabello was huge during that stretch. Had the steal and the layup that really got the crowd to another level. Had a couple of other plays beyond
22 minutes. That's kind of a lot.
That's kind of what they need him to be there. But they found a way to get in there and make the tough plays. And the key here, St. John's was the 3rd best offensive rebounding team in the country season long, I believe. They only lost second chance points by 2 and offensive rebounds by 1.
Yeah.
So they battled them basically to a draw in that area.
Number.
Yeah, they held them around 10, 12 percentage points below their season average in terms of offensive rebound percentage. So Creighton did the job they needed to there. And that allowed them to win the game despite not shooting well. Ryan Kalkbrenner, again, phenomenal game. Joel Soriano could not score against him one-on-one. Kalkbrenner dominated that matchup just like he did with Josh Oduro. He's been on an incredible stretch and was the best player on the floor in that game. Finished 18-9, a few blocks. And they got some big plays from Stephen Ashworth. I mentioned Francisco Farabello. Shireman, 1 of 6 from 3, but still scored 17 points, grabbed 12 rebounds. So they did just enough to get that win, and they absolutely needed it at home. And they got out of there and found a way to get it done. So they made some tough plays down the stretch. An offensive rebound where they just scrap for it. Baylor Shireman, Ryan Kalkbrenner knock it free from a St. John's guy, leads to the go-ahead free throws for Trey Alexander, and then they get the stop on defense. So you coming out of that game feeling pretty positive about it. Didn't play well, found a way to win. And then they took the trip up to Stores. And that was rough. That was rough. 62-48 was the final, tying their season low. I did not think we'd see Creighton score below 50 again this season. After
whoa.
Yeah, that was rough. But yeah, after doing the job on the defensive glass, doing well enough to win, they got destroyed there in this one.
6 offensive rebounds to 21 for UConn.
And converted those into 19 second chance points. Creighton only got 5, so that's 14-point difference and a 14-point loss right there. You add the points off turnovers. UConn was plus 11. Creighton had 14 turnovers again. So the two areas, that's what cost them the Marquette game, turnovers and offensive rebounds. And it happened again in this one. So you just cannot give a team extra possessions when you're struggling offensively to kind of balance that out. And Creighton actually, they held UConn under 36% from the field. This was the best defensive performance against UConn anybody has done all season, and they still couldn't get a win because of the rebounds and the turnovers.
Couldn't score.
And then the offense, That was, I mean, right off the bat.
6 of 26 from 3 is not good.
Yeah, not hitting open threes, but even beyond that.
34% from the field.
Yeah, they weren't getting open. They couldn't beat their man. Whatever actions they were trying to run off the ball wasn't getting guys clear. I think Max said at one point the TV cameras caught him like in the huddle, and like the message was like, "You've got to fight for your life to get open."
Yeah.
And because of the way that UConn was just absolutely hounding them on and off the ball, they were hedging ball screens, just taking Creighton completely out of their rhythm, and Creighton got stagnant. They didn't instead of countering it, trying something different. They got stuck, bogged down. A lot of guys standing around. Guys jogging through their cuts and not getting open, leading to some of those turnovers. It was just bad, just stagnant offense. We've seen that a few times this season. Like you can't afford for that to happen. Like you can't just wait and hope that eventually threes are going to fall to bail you out. Like,
I mean, the good news is they get UConn at home on February 20th, a Tuesday night. So it's 7:30 game, which is good. So you can avenge that, but maybe.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of things to figure out before they get there.
Yeah, at Seton Hall, Seton Hall's playing really well, which is a bit surprising, right? Yeah. So they're playing really well.
Big one on Saturday.
Big one at Seton Hall. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're staying out there. So,
yep.
And then home to Xavier on Tuesday.
But
quick turnaround.
Yeah. So I talked about the offense bogging down and not hitting threes. Ryan Kalkbrenner blocked as many shots as he attempted.
It's not.
He blocked 5 shots. Okay. He took 5 shots, made 4 of them. That can't happen.
No.
Like you can't let teams completely take out your best weapon, and that's what he is. He's their best offensive weapon right now. Baylor Scheierman's had a great season. He's a playmaker, but Ryan Kalkbrenner is your most efficient scorer. He's the biggest rim threat you have to counteract when the threes aren't falling, and you can. Like he can score in multiple ways. You can get him in the post, and he can get you some buckets that way. You can play through him. The pick and roll, obviously, they struggle to get the rhythm there, but they've got to do something. They can't let offense or defensive pressure kind of bait them into not keeping Kalkbrenner involved. I was going to change gears here, but like the bench part is something I brought that up a couple times now. At this point,
it's going to be 6 guys, basically 6.5.
Yeah, and they'll give a guy or two. They give like Isaac Trout, Fred King, or whatever a stint here or there, just to see if they can make a play. And if they give up, if they struggle, then right back and feeling like they're
for as much talk as there was about Jason Green, his hand injury must have really set him back as far as being in the mix and rotation more.
Yeah, the last couple of games they've tried him out a little bit.
Hasn't 2 minutes.
Well,
5 minutes.
Hasn't paid dividends yet, but they're starting to at least experiment with that as a kind of a small ball look, see if that's in there.
Do you need to be a little tougher there or something? Like, do you need something more athleticism? I don't know.
At this point, people are calling for the bench. I think it's a backup quarterback situation. There's the reason those guys aren't playing.
Yeah.
Just like kind of the idea of what you think they're going to provide, that may not be showing they can do that at this point.
Right.
So at this point in the season,
they do still practice just about every day.
Yeah. So at this point in the season, I don't think anything's going to dramatically change. You have to get better at what you are and what you do, and that's got to be the message coming out of this one, because we talked about the offensive rebounding and how they did a great job against St. John's, got crushed against UConn. Seton Hall is the best offensive rebounding team in the conference since league play began. So it's going to be another physical test out there at their place where you have to do the little things. And then they're going to have to find a way to get this offense kind of unstuck. And it's, again, just waiting for threes to fall. You're going to have to.
You probably got to get more just cutter action.
Yeah, 100%. The off-ball movement, it's got to get better. You've got to give yourself more options. You've got to you got to work harder. It comes down to that. You have to work harder to create good looks on offense than what we've seen. Right now, kind of their go-to actions, they're getting blown up, and they haven't had a counter for it right now. So they've got to find a way to execute what they do better, get a little bit more diverse on offense, keep defenses kind of off guard, and then, again, find a way to keep getting the ball to Kalkbrenner because he's the best player on the team right now. Like, Sharman has been the rock, but the way that Kalkbrenner's been playing compared to everybody else right now, he's the one guy that has every single game dominated his matchup over the last month or so.
True.
You got to make more of it. Like, you can't get 11 points and 5 shots out of Kalkbrenner in a must-win game.
Eventually, and maybe we don't have time to talk about it now, but the athleticism part probably needs brought up.
Yeah, and I mean that's part of it. Like, why they couldn't win one-on-one at any. And it's not like UConn is just nuclear athletes at every spot. So that's part of the thing too. It wasn't just athleticism. Like, there were things within what UConn was doing that Creighton could have handled better, made better decisions, been more direct with their movement, things like that. Like, Creighton made it too easy on UConn there. They kind of fell into the trap and couldn't pull themselves out of it. So that is going to be what they have to improve on. Like, that film study is not going to be fun for those guys. And now we get to see on Saturday, how are they going to respond? Because it is a big spot. You lose another one on Saturday, the conference title hopes are basically over. Like, you're falling out of that race because now you have lost to the 2 teams in first place.
Not great.
And now you're sitting there at 4 losses if you drop that one in league play. Like, that's a hole you don't want to put yourself in. So big game on Saturday. We will be back to recap that and the Xavier game coming back home on Tuesday. We'll be back next week. But for now, this has been the Blue Jay Breakdown.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.